Every single person starts somewhere. They didn't choose where or when they were born, but each person makes up our population. This means that everyone matters. Everyone has the right to speak, the right to live, and the right to be happy. This may seem common for privileged people like ourselves, but it is a major issue for places in the world like Central Africa. LRA child soldiers are abducted from their home villages and sent to camps where they are abused and turned into soldiers, porters, cooks, or sex slaves. They are forced to kill their own family members, and if they try to escape, they're murdered. Invisible Children's story began in 2003, when three young filmmakers, Jason, Bobby, and Lauren, took a trip to East and Central Africa, where they found themselves in the middle of a 20-year-old war, with thousands of children being abused and abducted. A boy named Jacob was one of them. Jacob was an LRA child soldier. He told them his story. His family died as he was running for his life. He told them about the war, the abuse he went through every day. He even told them he would rather die. His story was one of the 30,000 other members, along with the general population in Africa, living through fear. This is when they made a film about Joseph Kony, all the child soldiers, and how they can put an end to the LRA violence. By 2004, this story became a non-profit organization, which is now called Invisible Children. They believe in the equal and inherent value of all human life. They believe that a worldview bound by borders is outdated and that stopping injustice anywhere is the responsibility of humanity everywhere. Their practices support community defection committees, grassroots advocacy, LRA crisis tracker, come home defection messaging, early warning radio network, and come home broadcasts. These programs to this day are still rescuing children from the LRA. These programs have reduced LRA violence by 92%, and there are less than 200 soldiers still fighting. By 2012, millions of people knew about Kony and his crimes with the help of Invisible Children. Who is the LRA? The Lord's Resistance Army is a sectarian, military, and religious group formed in the late 1980s to originally fight against the Ugandan government to defend the rights of the Alkali, a locally ethnic group in northern Uganda. However, this religious group turned into a rebel group after its leader, Joseph Kony, took over in northern Uganda and South Sudan. Joseph Kony has led the Lord's Resistance Army for almost 30 years, having kidnapped 30,000 children to strengthen his army of soldiers and sex slaves. Kony's beliefs come directly from the spirit world and must never be questioned. He leaves families unsure if their children and loved ones are still alive or dead, with groups of fighters fled across Central Africa. Nonetheless, they are forced to kill their own families. Invisible Children face many challenges involving communication without credible data from the public, international communities, and policymakers. This is when Invisible Children created a crisis map social web platform called the LRA Crisis Tracker, which broadcasted attacks and other activities from the LRA on the website. Data from the site is collected by NGOs, regional actors, and daily security broadcasts from communities linked into Invisible Children's early warning radio network. The radio network program is composed of two-way high-frequency radios that provide the Democratic Republic of Congo and Central African Republic the ability to report LRA activity to one another. This stopped the LRA from freely attacking its area of operation. This means attacking places such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, and South Sudan. In December 2009, the LRA attacked 10 villages, killing more than 320 people in 4 days. The lack of communication meant that none of the people received any warning or security during or before the attack. Joseph Kony filled his members with fear by telling them they'd never return home, And that's why the LRA lost faith in returning home and gave up on fighting for their rights. Invisible Children gave them that faith by putting up flyers in areas where the LRA is present to make them aware of Kony, his plan, and how they can escape safely back to local authorities. Although, when the LRA combatants escape their group, they fear being killed or imprisoned because of their unaccepted communities. Invisible Children is now working on those communities that are closest to the conflict to establish community defection committees or rehabilitation by holding locally led community workshops to ensure that communities function peacefully without being disrupted by the LRA. In August 2011, Invisible Children hosted its 4th Estate Conference with 1,500 activists and educators from 27 countries. Young people from all over the world came together, with experts in film, journalism, economics, international justice, and so much more. With the diversity of people that showed up, together they made a difference in their own communities and around the world. The 4th Estate believed that the government and political advocacy is a big part of putting an end to Joseph Kony and the LRA violence. The group of powerful individuals made a significant impact when they slept on streets, wrote countless letters, and held hundreds of lobby meetings in Washington and all around the country. Because of their efforts, Invisible Children has already passed 2 significant laws, which helped start up the defection. The first bill was the LRA Disarmament and Northern Ugandan Recovery Act, signed by Obama on May 24, 2014. By doing so, in November 2010, President Obama sent out 100 U.S. advisors to Central Africa alongside the African Union-led mission who worked to stop LRA violence and arrest Joseph Kony. In addition, on March 24, 2014, he announced the strengthening of the U.S. counter-LRA efforts by developing 4 V-22 Osprey military aircrafts to further strengthen their force. The second bill was passed on January 15, 2013, addressing the Rewards for Justice expansion legislation. This bill allowed the U.S. government to provide a monetary reward for information leading to capture those wanted for international war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, which of course includes the LRA. This legislation has promoted the trackdown of criminals with rewards up to $5 million. Invisible Children has the idea and the programs, but all we need is you. We've already brought home 4 out of 5 LRA commanders and safely brought home 1,338 LRA combatants, with more returning home each month. We still don't have one person, the self-appointed CIA of the rebels, Joseph Kony. Now, he's the one hiding. Without him, the problem could not escalate greater than it's ever been. The war is not over. We still need your help. Between now and December 31st, they're raising $150,000 for their finishing fund to support their programs in Central Africa through 2015. These programs, which to this day rescue women and children from the LRA, can only continue as long as they're funded, because all your donations go directly to them. So give generously, help others, speak out, and show something. Donating, it's super easy. Just go online at www.invisiblechildren.com to donate now. Join their bake sales, milk chugging competitions, car washes. You can even start your own fundraiser. Be creative. If you have any questions, need advice, or just want to talk about fundraising, call them at 619-562-2799. Become an Invincible Children citizen. Just join online to become a part of our group to keep the U.S. government committed to ending the LRA violence. This means we will be calling you to tweet, call, email, and even meet with your member of Congress on important issues regarding the LRA. You can also contact them via Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Vimeo, and YouTube. You can even write them a letter. Find their address on the Invincible Children website, as well as their blog. In this connected world, we can see, hear, and share with each other. Let's take the time to help each other. Join the Fourth Estate. Give whatever you can to fund this life-changing experience. Thank you.